What would you do if the woman you loved, the one you built a life with, was not where her phone's GPS said she was? The glowing screen of my phone at 2 a.m., casting an eerie blue light across our silent bedroom in a quiet Dallas suburb, showed Sarah's car, her car, parked outside the Omni Hotel on Riverfront Boulevard. She had told me she was at her sister's, helping with a sick child, a story delivered with practiced concern just hours before. My heart hammered against my ribs, a frantic drumbeat of disbelief and dawning horror. The air grew thick, suffocating. A cold dread unlike anything I'd ever known began to spread through my veins. This wasn't just a wrong turn. This was a betrayal, a lie that felt like a physical blow. The mystery wasn't if she was there, but who she was with, and what I would do next. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel. Tell us where you're from and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. The humiliation hit me first, a tidal wave of shame that threatened to drown me, not just for myself, but for the naive fool I'd been. Sarah, my Sarah, the woman I'd married 10 years ago in a sun-drenched ceremony overlooking Lake Grapevine, was cheating. The evidence, once I started looking, was everywhere. The late nights, the sudden girls' trips to Austin, the way she'd flinch when I touched her phone. I'd dismissed it all as stress, as her busy new job in marketing. Oh. I was a loyal husband, a man who believed in the sanctity of our vows, and she had made a mockery of it all. Her behavior had grown increasingly strange. Oh. She'd started locking her phone, something she'd never done. Her perfume, a scent I'd bought her for our anniversary, was often masked by a different, musky cologne. I found a receipt for a lavish dinner at a steakhouse downtown, a place we couldn't afford, tucked into her purse. It was $4 or $2. When I asked, she'd casually said it was a client dinner, but the date was a Saturday. The lies were becoming more elaborate, more frequent, and I, the trusting husband, was slowly piecing together the ugly truth. The slow discovery was agonizing. I started checking her location more often, a habit born of desperation. The Omni Hotel wasn't a one-off. There were other hotels, always late at night, always when she claimed to be elsewhere. I found texts hidden deep in an archived folder on her phone between her and a man named Mark. "Can't wait for our next escape," one read. "You're incredible," another said. Mark. I knew a Mark from her office, a smug, slick-haired guy who always seemed to be hovering around her at company parties. He was the affair partner, the man who had helped her shatter my world. Sarah, once warm and affectionate, became cold and manipulative. When I tried to talk to her about her distance, she'd turn it around, accusing me of being insecure, jealous, controlling. "You're imagining things, David," she'd say, her eyes devoid of the warmth I once knew. "Maybe you're just not enough for me anymore." Her words were daggers, twisting in the wound she'd already inflicted. She acted as if she was untouchable, as if her deception was a game she was winning, and I was merely a pawn. Mark, too, seemed to revel in his role, sending her flowers at the office, knowing full well I'd see them. They felt invincible, protected by their lies and my apparent ignorance. I broke down. I remember sitting in my car in a deserted parking garage near my office in downtown Chicago, the city lights blurring through my tears. The pain was physical, a crushing weight on my chest. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. My work suffered. My friends noticed, but I couldn't bring myself to tell them. The humiliation was too great. But in that brokenness, a cold, hard resolve began to form. I wouldn't just leave. I would make her pay. Not with anger, but with precision. I began to secretly gather proof. I installed a discreet GPS tracker on her car, confirming every illicit rendezvous. I hired a private investigator, a quiet man named Frank, who provided me with irrefutable photographic evidence. Sarah and Mark, hand in hand, entering a discreet Airbnb in Miami Beach, then later, leaving a cozy cafe on Ocean Drive, laughing. I meticulously documented every text, every suspicious charge on our joint credit card, every lie. I consulted with a divorce attorney, a sharp woman named Ms. Davies, who specialized in high-asset cases and had a reputation for ruthlessness. She laid out a strategy, a legal and social trap that would leave Sarah with nothing. The traps were set. I opened a separate bank account, transferring half of our joint savings legally before she could touch it. I quietly informed her company's HR department, anonymously at first, about her inappropriate relationship with a senior colleague, hinting at potential conflicts of interest and misuse of company resources. I drafted a detailed affidavit, complete with dates, times, locations, and photographic evidence, ready to be filed. I even reached out to a few key mutual friends, subtly planting seeds of doubt about Sarah's recent behavior, preparing them for the inevitable. The public exposure happened on a Tuesday, exactly 1 month after I found her car at the Omni. The divorce papers were served at her office, in front of her colleagues, detailing her infidelity and the financial implications. Simultaneously, the HR investigation escalated, leading to Mark's immediate suspension and Sarah being placed on administrative leave. The photos from Miami Beach, carefully leaked by Frank, found their way to a few gossip blogs and then, inevitably, to our mutual friends. Her carefully constructed facade crumbled. The whispers turned into shouts, the pity into scorn. Sarah was completely ruined. Her career, once promising, was in tatters. Her reputation, once pristine, was irrevocably stained. Our shared friends, disgusted by her deceit, distanced themselves. She lost the house, the car, and most of her savings. The arrogant, manipulative woman who had felt untouchable was now utterly alone, facing a future she had never anticipated. I saw her once, months later, walking down a street in Los Angeles, a city she'd moved to in a desperate attempt to escape her past. She looked hollow, her eyes vacant. She didn't see me. The silence that followed was deafening, a quiet, haunting echo of a life that had been the end.